What's the difference between these two pieces of technology? One's a Nintendo Switch 2 and one's an iPhone 15 Pro. Now, at first glance, they both have screens, they both can play games, they both can connect to the internet. They're both pieces of technology designed to entertain you. But let me tell you right now, they both do completely different things. But over the last month, I've realized one of these actually makes me feel satisfied, genuinely entertained, and pretty relaxed actually before going to bed. While the other, I wonder, where did my last 2 hours just disappear to? You know, I need them back. The funny thing is, I know a lot of you will probably say it's obviously your phone. Like, come on, we all have been in the same space you have, Atif. Yeah, you have, and you probably still are. But also thinking, well, what's the difference between having a Switch and having a phone? Because you can just sit there and play games non-stop on your Switch and feel like, wow, where did my last 2 hours go? But no, I'd like to disagree with you on that, and that just depends on what game you're playing. This is like if you were 6 foot and you're looking down on me. Do I look lame? Yeah. I think a lot of us have forgotten what it feels like to be having fun, you know? Not stimulated, not distracted. Fun, you're having fun. For the longest time I can remember, every time I felt myself wanting to be distracted, I'd whip out my phone, waiting for my food to come out the microwave because I can't cook. My phone, wanting to take a shit. Well, that's gonna take 10 minutes. Whip out the phone. Please wash your hands afterwards. When you're lying in bed trying to go to sleep, who's there to distract you? Not your girlfriend because you don't have one. Not your friends because you don't have any. There's always a new notification, a new video, a new something to keep you stimulated. It will never keep you alone. It will never keep you in your own thoughts. You know how easy it is to fall asleep? It takes you about 5 minutes and then you're self-diagnosing yourself with insomnia because you can't get off your phone. Sounds like my brother, to be honest. But about a month ago, something drastic changed. I cut off a very sticky relationship, situationship that I've been in for the last 8 months, and every time me and her went on and off and broke up and got back together, this, that, I'd go on TikTok, I would scroll, I would look at videos about, well, that girl's gonna come back to you, she's gonna regret it, king, man that she's gonna dream you to be, she's an avoidant, you know what I mean, blah, 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 blah. Stuff to keep me on the app because what does it do? It makes me feel satisfied, it makes me feel good in myself. But I wasn't actually taking the right advice. That a lot of the advice that I was getting from good people was do stuff you love, do stuff you were doing prior to that girl. But I genuinely couldn't remember the last time I had fun by myself. I've always had friends, girlfriends, or even just my phone there to sit and watch movies, play FIFA. And yes, FIFA doesn't sound fun, does it? But just always something there to distract me. Away from my thoughts, away from accountability, away from effort. I picked up my Switch because I was like, you know what? Another distraction, let's go for it. But when I picked it up and I saw Pokémon Fire Red on sale, I was like, let me give it a go. Let me actually give this game a go. It's been a long time. It cost me about £16.99. My friend actually bought Leaf Green with me, so it was one of those things where I was like, you know what, I can play with her together. It's one of them things we can do together. But no, I actually found myself being way ahead of her and clearing the game, and she still hasn't cleared it, and it's been like 3 weeks since I finished that game, but whatever. But honestly speaking, I thought, well, I'm just gonna play this game. It's gonna give me a bit of nostalgia. Maybe I'll remember Professor Oak, and I'm gonna pick Charmander because of course I will. And yeah, I mean, I'll feel like a kid again. Wow, this game's not even that good. Just nostalgia bait, nostalgia bait. But no, I'm actually so glad Nintendo brought one of these games back because it really unlocked the process of real earned dopamine, real earned reward. Just go through TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, whatever you name it. When you eat a shit ton of food and you constantly eat, and then you're like, wow, I can't have another bite. Oh my God, I'm too full. It's the same thing with your dopamine receptors. When you're going through TikTok again and again and again, and next video, next video, next video, next video, your brain's like, when's this gonna stop? You may be liking it, but your brain slowly starts to think, this isn't fun anymore. I'm not really getting much from this anymore. You start a cycle of repeated doom scrolling where you started off probably with 20 minutes on TikTok and then you hit 3 hours because your brain is looking for an end. It's looking for the best video A lot of you may say, well, you could have just emulated Pokemon Fire Red on your laptop or anything, but no. Because with emulation, there's save states, there's speeding up, there's these things to make the game, again, more stimulating. But with my Switch, it's different. You have to go back to the Poke Center every time for your HM slave. I'm thinking about you, Nido Queen. Or you have to sit there in the tall grass walking to Brooke's gym when you picked a Charmander where all you have is Metal Claw and you know you're going to get fucked up unless you train him up to a Charmeleon. You have to do all of these things that cause boredom, in other words. The word bored, right? But when you're doing these things and you train your Charmander to Charmeleon, you eventually beat Brock and then you get your Water Badge, your Rainbow Badge, your Boulder Badge, all of these different gym leaders, these different Team Rocket events, beat Giovanni. Every time you do one of those things, you have to train up and then you win. You have to first put the effort and then you get the reward. With kids, that's the trend that we went down upon. Whether we're going to play a sport or whether we're watching Disney Channel at 5 p.m, we had to wait till 5 p.m. to watch Jessie or to watch any of these shows that I did. I know I'm a bit of a girly guy, but that's what I was watching. Power Rangers and Good Luck Charlie. There weren't no in-betweens. It's just those two, you know what I mean? Just like a billionaire being able to go holiday whenever he wants, go do this whenever he wants. When you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, similarly, when you can get dopamine whenever you want without doing anything, without putting effort, you're not having fun. You're not getting any satisfaction. And the Switch causes you, especially games like Fire Red, it causes you to be patient. Patience is key. It's very key. And I thought, well, I've had my Switch for a long time. I've had my Switch for over a year. I actually was there on release day on the 4th of June. I was actually waiting 6 hours outside in the rain, outside of Smith Storage Superstores in London. Yeah, it was long. But was it worth it at the time? No, it was not worth it at the time. I played Mario Kart for maybe a week and then I dumped it. And I just sat there on the dock, on my desk for a whole year. But what changed this time around? Yeah, breaking up with my ex was one of them things where it was hard and it caused me to think, what do I want to do with my life and blah blah blah, existential crisis bullshit, right? But I'm grateful because it made me actually look at the stuff I own instead of getting new things and thinking, why don't I actually start using these things? So when I went on my Switch this time around, it was like, I'm gonna start a game and I'm gonna finish it. A lot of your brains probably had a eureka moment right now because you have a huge backlog of games. Once you sit there, you're like, I'm gonna beat this game, and you do it. Eureka! You feel amazing, you feel great. And that's what happened to me, and now I've realized it wasn't just Pokemon that was doing this. It's not my bias for Pokemon that makes me feel like this Switch is amazing, but no, if you look through the Switch library and you see stuff like Zelda, Mario, Persona 5, never played that game before, but you know, you look at these games and they all have this one pattern. They teach you a skill while making it fun. And I think that's why we loved playing games as a kid. Loved playing Pokemon Black, loved playing Legend of Zelda Four Swords. No one liked that game actually, but you know, we like these games because they all taught us a skill without making it a hassle, without making it a chore. With Pokemon, it teaches you patience, waiting to level up your Pokemon and eventually beating the gym leaders and becoming the Pokemon champion. Zelda, it teaches you exploration, it teaches you creativity. You have to make your own weapons, build your own machinery so you can traverse from one area to another. You have to do it yourself and it's all unique to you. And finally, Mario. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a great example of this because this game isn't particularly hard compared to a lot of Mario Bros games, but when I'm playing it, I never can fully finish the level in my first try. I can't get all the C's in my first try, or maybe I'll just die on my first try. But it rewards practice. The more you practice, the more you get it. Similar to games like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, which I love, best game of all time. I'll make a video on that one day. But it's all about practice. It's not impossible. You're probably not gonna get it on your first turn. You know you're gonna get it. And once you get it, it's amazing. And it's that one thing that's missing in everything we do in our life is we have to sit there. We don't just sit there and try and actually do it until we get it. We either give up or look for an easier source. The Switch made me kind of think about my life a bit differently. I know it's very cliche to say, but don't start something unless you're gonna finish it. Don't start a relationship unless you're gonna try your best. Don't start a business unless you're gonna do it to the end. Never a good outcome or a bad outcome. All you have to do is just try and do it. And once you try, whether or not it went out the way you wanted it to, at least you're satisfied knowing you tried your best. You're on TikTok or Instagram Reels looking at your 99th Michael Jackson edit, and I'm very, very guilty of doing that. Pick up your Switch, boot any of those games that I mentioned, boot your favorite game that I don't know. Watch, you're gonna remember nearly exactly everything that you did in that half an hour. Compare it to your phone, you couldn't tell me a single thing you did in the last 8 hours on your phone. So, actually why walking down Victory Road after all these years, after the countless of Pokemon games I've already cleared, it still feels just as satisfying and just as memorable.